Hello everybody. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss about that the human resource planning from the human resource management. This human resource planning comes under the head of Unit 5. The structure of this unit is objectives and what is called human resource planning and what are the objectives of human resource planning and the levels of human resource planning and the process of human resource planning and the techniques of human resource demand forecast and the factors affecting human resource demand forecasting and the problems in human resource planning process and at last guidelines for making HRP effective. What are the objectives of this unit? To understand the concept of human resource planning and discuss the needs and objectives of human resource planning and describe the process of human resource planning and the problems of human resource planning. Okay, let me introduce that. What is human resource planning? Planning, we know that what is to be done, when, where, why, what, which. You must apply all the WH questions related to that planning activity. Generally, planning means decide in advance or forecasting the future. Here, we are going to plan that human resource because we got one project, new project. The how many number of employees required, the how many number of manpower is required to complete that new project. We are in a position to identify that the how many employees are required to the top level, which means the strategic level and the tactical level and the operational level. We must analyze each and everything because required manpower only we can able to complete the project on time. So each and every project has some unique features. One project required the maximum number of humans, or we are in a position to allocate that maximum number of people to complete that particular project on time. And another project only required that missions and other tools, equipments and other things. We can utilize that, we can handle that project with the limited manpower. And sometimes we can able to do that operationally, mechanically. So what are all the possibilities and the feasibilities to complete that particular project on time? We must analyze that the manpower of a particular project. So this objective is to provide that right personnel for the right work with the optimum utilization of human resources. Yes, of course. We must analyze that human power requirements and utilize in the optimal level, which means the maximum level. So what a HR manager is supposed to do is analyze the present human power requirements and analyze the future manpower requirements and check their availability and forecast the future requirement and as well as the present strength. You make a comparison between the present and the future and meet that necessary program of the future requirements. So these are all the things. It's mainly important in that HRP. Okay, sir. What are the objectives? The objectives of human resource planning are mainly to ensure that the optimum utilization of human resources currently employed, which means the maximum amount of utilization by the particular employee. And the second thing is assess or forecast the future requirements. Anything will happen to the future. We must assess it. We must analyze it. We must forecast the future requirements. Because we are bringing the new project with the limited manpower, definitely the employee should not face that work pressure under their head. We must equally distribute it according to the division of work theory. Divide the work into the various heads, into the various human being, employees. So judge the present requirements and as well as the future requirements of the study. And the third thing is cope up with the changing scenarios of the human resource planning. We have to cope up with that, create some new strategies, adopt some new policies, because the changes are never changes. We have to keep it in our mind. Without changing anything else, definitely we have to bring the changes. The changes may be the technology, maybe the marketing, maybe the HR, maybe the finance, R&D, whatever, whichever, however it is applicable or required to make some changes in order to bring some effective results, fruitful results. We must do it without fail. Because if you are not ready to update yourself, you will be outdated automatically. So bring some changes, you cope up with that, the changes with the present and as well as the future requirements, highly based on that human behavioral theory, human power, and attaching with business plans of organization. Whatever it is, we must attach that business plans of the organization and provide that basis for human resource development and assist in productivity bargaining. So the productivity means you must give that less the cost and gives that maximum output. You must make the comparison between the actual and the standard and bring that very good productivity towards a particular job. It is required. And the benefits of human resource planning. The proper human resource planning results into a number of benefits. Some of them are the create reservoir of talents because we have to maintain the talent management and the preparation for the future human resource needs. Whatever it is, we must prepare for it because the company is ready to adopt some new changes. The new changes, how much amount that new changes can able to bring that fruitful results to our work, we don't know about that. So the company should prepare for it, right? Because I'm concentrating only the local market, my company should grow with that district level. If I attain the district level of business attainment, then go with that national level. Again, I attain that my achievement through the national level, go with that international level. So globalize business, global business activities in a very, very systematic manner. We must promote that employees in a very systematic manner provides basis for the development of human resource and help in career and succession planning. So these are the benefits of human resource planning. And next followed the need for human resource planning at macro level. What are the major reasons? Right? The employment and unemployment situations. Two, in general, and the number of educated unemployed is on the rise. There is actually shortage for a variety of skills. This emphasizes the need for more effective recruitment and retaining the people. So we must analyze each and everything to retain the people, give that emphasis on that particular situations. And the technological changes. What are all the changes come out with that very good technology? We must appreciate for it. Because the production technologies changing every on monthly basis in the automobile industry. On the like way, we can able to understand that so many changes in the retail industry, whether the product or process or functional or package or design, advertising, sales, marketing, everything else. So we must analyze that what are the reasons to bring that particular changes, to deploy that particular content into the next level in a very, very systematic manner. And the third thing is organizational changes. The environment marked by clinical fluctuations and discontinuities, the nature and path of changes in organizational environment, activity, structure affect manpower requirements and require strategic considerations. And the demographic changes come out with that. The demographic variables of the particular employee, it come out with that the age, gender, the marital status, literacy rate, and the inputs, and the geographical background of the particular employee. Everything else we need to analyze. And the skill shortages. If any unemployment problem, it doesn't mean that the labor market is a buyer market. Organizations have generally become more complex and require a wide range of specialist skills that are rare and scarce of the particular leave benefits. And the next thing is government influences. We have a local legislation body, we have a central. So do that some affirmative actions based on that working conditions about that hours of work, restrictions on women and child employment, and casual and contract labors, etc., have stimulated the organization to become involvement in a very systematic human resource planning. So these are the need for HRP at macro level. And the levels of human resource planning. The human resource planning is carried out the following levels. One is called national level, and another one is called sector level, and another one is called industry level, and last one is called unit level. The national level, the central government plans for human resources at the national level. It forecasts the demand for supply of human resources as a whole. For example, the government of India specifies the objectives of HRP in a successive 5 years plans. Because in the previously we must see about that the 5 years plan activity and the yearly plan activity and so on. On the sectoral level, central and state governments formulate the human resource planning for different sectors. For example, industrial sector, agricultural sector, finance. In so many sectors are available. Based on the sectoral level, we must analyze that the present and future requirements of the manpower because India depends on that agriculture based country. We must see that the number of farmers in our country. Without the adequate farmers, without the adequate agriculture land, how can we meet out the demand of food products in all the total population at present? And we must care about the future generation of our country also. According to that, Dr. Abdul Kalam sir told, the youngsters are the future generation. We have to think about the youngsters. The future period after 70 years or 100 years, what will be the price of paddy? What will be the price of wheat per kg? We don't know. Anything will happen. Anything will come with that changes. So we must see that adequacy in all the sectoral level. If inadequate means definitely that supply will be low, the demand will be high, automatically the product price will be high. That things will happen. In the industry level, the human resource planning for specific industries are prepared by the particular industries. Particularly in the unit level, the HRP for a particular department sector of an industry is prepared. At this level, it again includes the following level. Plant level. Plant level is purely for the production unit, operations unit, and the departmental level. The departmental level, so many departments are there. Human resource department is there, financial department is there, marketing department is there, advertising department is there, sales and distribution department is there. And all the departments are there. We must check that availability of that all the levels. On the divisional level, district level, national level, state level, international level, and all the levels. And the next slide talks about the process of human resource planning. What are the major stages of human resource planning are as followed. Analyzing operational plans and human resource demand forecasting, and see that analyzing operational plans, it consists the following substages. First one is objectives and strategic plans of the company are analyzed. We must see about the company's objective, vision, mission statement of that particular strategic plan that are analyzed from the operational levels. And second, plans concerning the technological, finance, production, and analyzed. The HRP is prepared keeping this in mind. On the future plans, goals, and objectives of the company are also taken into account. And the next thing is human resource demand forecasting. The human resource demand forecasting mainly involve the three sub-functions. Demand forecast. We require the quality human beings. How can you get the compromise on the quality of work? The quality of work come out with that quality human capital, human being only. And the manpower gaps. Depending upon the requirement, existing surplus, human resources having the desired skills are matched. If not found, then shortage is shown. And supply forecast. Basing on the existing HR inventory and the demand forecast, the supply forecast of HR resources is carried out in an organization. So the supply and demand theory should be equalized. This is another process of human resource planning. What are the techniques of human resource demand forecast? The following techniques. The first one is called managerial judgment. When this experienced manager estimate the human resource requirements for their respective department on the basis of their knowledge of expected future workload and employee efficiency. As a head of the particular department, I must know my team and the team's effective results and the team's attainment level and the particular individual employee's attainment level and everything else. Then only I can able to give that the future workload and as well as the present requirement of that managerial judgment of the study will be more helpful to predict that future forecasting and the demand. And the second thing is work study method. How to study the work and the time. Measure that work being done or not. And the third thing is ratio trend analysis. Under this method, the ratios, the total output divided by the number of workers, direct workers divided by indirect workers are calculated on the basis of past data, and the future ratios are basing on the past trends. This is also the highly questionable and commendable in all the ways. And ratio trend analysis we discussed. The mathematical model. Mathematical model always talks about the variables, which comes at the independent variable, which one is the dependent variable. The number of employees are required is called a dependent. Independent, the percentage of amount invested into the business, the enlargement of that particular production unit, and demand that the future sales or predict that future sales and the present requirements, everything else. So we can create such a models, managerial judgment, work study method, ratio trend analysis method, and the mathematical model in a very good techniques of predicting that HR demand or forecasting the HR demand in a future period. And next slide, I'm going to discuss about the factors affecting human resource demand forecasting. What are all the factors are affecting? Several factors are included, particularly the employment trend and the replacement needs and the productivity of the employee and the labor absenteeism and the expansion and growth. See that, let me see one by one. The employment trends. You see that the trends in the employment. Some employment, some job are required and deals about purely technical. Some jobs are non-technical. Some jobs are required some additional skill set. Some jobs are not required such a skill set. So we must see that employment trends and the replacement needs of the particular employee and see the productivity of the organization. Minimum supply gives that maximum benefits. Minimum cost create that maximum output. So such a productivity in the workplace also increases the demand of human resource, also affecting that one of the factors of HR demand forecasting. And the absenteeism, employee or labor absenteeism must include that in that expansion and the growth of a particular business activity in a very big level, right? Next slide talks about the problems in human resource planning process. What are the problems, main problems in the process of human resource planning? Inaccuracy of the data. The human resource planning is entirely dependent on the HR forecasting and supply, which cannot be a sent 100% accurate process. Inaccuracy of that particular data automatically talks about and deals about that particular problems in the HRP process. And the second thing is employee resistance. Employees and their unions feel that by human resource planning, their workload increases, so they resist the process. And uncertainties. Labor absenteeism is quite natural. Employee labor turnover or employee turnover is quite natural. We can't able to control. And the seasonal employment also somewhat in affecting that problems of human resource planning process because some contract laborers are there. Some people are appointed under the permanent basis. Some people are appointed as a temporary basis. And the technological changes. The changes in the technology and the market fluctuations and the uncertainties happen in the human resource planning process might have to face that such a problems in the human resource planning process. And the inefficient information system. In Indian industries, the human resource information system is not much strong. In the absence of reliable data, it's not possible to develop effective HRP because we must see about the data available related to the human resource and the information system. We must merge both two ends. And the time and expenses. The HRP is time consuming and expensive exercise. So industries can avoid such a problems. Okay, sir. The next thing is the guidelines for making HRP effective. The few guidelines to improve the effectiveness of HRP process are discussed. The first one is called tailor-made. We can able to customize all those things. The HRP should be balanced with the corporate objectives because the corporate objectives always talks about the changes, modernization, technology, and the target-based objectives. How to move on with that. And second thing is appropriate time. The period of human resource planning process should be more appropriate to the needs and circumstances of an organization. And the third thing is adequate organization. HRP process should be adequately, properly organized in an organization. And next thing is top management support. We must support the people and the HRP process supporting and committing of top management should be ensured. And the participation of the human resource planning, the HRP will be successful if all in an organization are participating. Information system, an adequate database should be developed for facilitating human resource planning. And balanced focus, the quantity and the quality should be stressed in a balanced manner. Right? So these are all the guidelines for making HRP in a very effective manner. So let me summarize all those things. In this chapter, in this unit, we discussed about what is called human resource planning, what are the objectives of human resource planning, and what are the levels of human resource planning, and the process of human resource planning, and the techniques of HR demand forecasting, and the factors affecting HR demand forecasting, and the problems in human resource planning process, and last, guidelines for making HRP in a very effective manner. Right? So we'll discuss the next things in the next unit. Thank you.